Hey folks, JD here, and today we've got the Zino, so we're going to take her out on this beautiful summer afternoon, or spring afternoon rather, and see exactly how this does. So I'm quite hopeful. I hope it is going to it's going to be as good as I hope it is going to be. Don't forget to take off that camera mount at the front before you turn it on, as I clearly almost forgot there. Turn on the transmitter is on. Angle our antenna as best as we possibly can. Plug in our phone into the bottom, and then we should have a straight connection. Let's open it up and do it all through the Hubsan app. Let's put that in my bag, actually, get that out of the way for the time being. Oh, so it's a beautiful day here today. Really nice, really warm. Zino, enter device, enter main interface. Now what I've done in the house to try and save us a little bit of time here is I've just plugged it all up once, made sure everything was working, just so that I didn't want to get to the field to find out that obviously nothing worked. So far we've got everything is on, yeah, everything is on. Let's see what we've got. Transmitter connection, Wi-Fi, Hubsan connect. And now it should automatically connect then. So it says aircraft disconnected for a second. There we go, motor locked, format the SD card, yeah, formatting that. I've got a standard 32 gig class 10 in the side of it. So that is all done, that is all ready to go. It's a SanDisk as well, so that should be okay. So it's just checking the SD card speed for the time being. So while it's checking the speed, I'm going to get this screen ready to rock and roll. There we go, let's get something. There we are, SD card speed check passed, I think so too. So that's all done, that's all ready. We're just waiting for satellites. We've got 14 for the time being. We did go through and I did calibrate it in the house. I do want to see whether or not I can calibrate it out here as well. GPS accuracy test, bind aircraft to current device. You must bind your current mobile device to the aircraft so the mobile devices cannot connect to the aircraft unless you reboot the aircraft. Okay, so there we go, GPS accuracy test. Let's see, there we go, just doing that. Good GPS accuracy, brilliant, that's exactly what I want. The standard way to set these up via GPS calibration. Let's see if I can force it. It doesn't look as if I can. Compass calibration, yes I can, perfect. So let me show you. So as soon as you compass calibrate, then you have the standard connections. So you twist it round, and then your app will tell you when you are calibrated to turn it upside down so the camera faces the bottom, and then to twist again. It's best to do it off quite a high place so you're not doing it on level ground. And then once you've calibrated, your app then finishes with a little animation, and then the system will initialize, it'll sort out everything else, it'll get its horizontal plane, it'll make sure everything's working, and then we'll start. There we are, motor locked, 14 satellites, which is about standard for here. We sometimes get between 14 and 16 depending on the quad, depending on the time of day, atmospherics, etc, etc. So it looks as if we're all good to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off. So I'm going to stand back, up she goes. Right then, it's been a long time since I've flown a Hubsan, and the last Hubsan I flew was the H502S, I believe, as in GPS quad. The last Hubsan I actually flew was the indoor nano quadcopter. So for the second, I'm just looking to see how it's doing. We've got a ferocious 12-mile-an-hour breeze coming from my right as I stand directly over the left. As you can see, the quadcopter itself is hanging itself in quite a weird 23 degree angle just as the wind passes over it, just to ensure that it can actually hold itself nice and steady. So for the second, I'm going to get some photos taken as I'm in front of it. Let's move it forward a little bit. Okay, it doesn't like this breeze. It really doesn't like this breeze at all. Let's take a couple of photos. So these are the photos I'm taking over on the left-hand side shoulder button. I'm going to alter this gimbal down a bit as well. Oh, that's a nice action. As you roll your finger, the gimbal, it doesn't jerk, it's nice and smooth motions. So as you click the left and at the left a shoulder button, you'll notice the screen flashes and your little shutter button here depresses. So that's good. So I'm just taking a couple of photos of me varying angles just so I can see exactly what it's like when I come back to edit the video. So there we go, right there, and let's get some video on the go. So click to record some video by the look of it. Now the question is, am I recording video? Because it doesn't say. So what have I got here? If I click from, there we go, if I click from video. Now that's a bit of a thing, isn't it? I'm clicking, do I click and hold? Yes, there we go, click and hold to record. Nice. So let's take her out and let's see how she does so far. The Hubsan Zino. Nice LEDs. Wow, okay, I'm in normal mode, yes, lovely. Oh, I got some people in the field, folks. I'm gonna have to down this and then take it back up in a couple of seconds. Bear with me. Okay, the people have passed, so let's get back in the air. So I've got video recording. I did stop it because I didn't want to fill up the SD card with just it being on the landing pad. Wow, this thing is quick. This thing is quick. 8.4 meters per second I was flying out there. This video looks super stable. Looks beautiful. That 3-axis gimbal clearly working well. So for the minute, I'm about just over halfway on the throttle. I got 80% battery left. I don't want to be too crazy on the throttle with this thing. I want to see exactly how it goes. I'm finding it a bit difficult to actually see whether or not, do you know what, with a lot of quadcopters and you look down at the FPV screens, I can see clearly line of sight where the quad is, but I look down and I see to myself, right, okay, I need to look at where the quad is from an FPV perspective, and I can see the motion within the video. I can't see any motion here at all. I have to just slightly move the analog sticks just to see whether or not it is actually still relaying, which clearly it is. It's just that 3-axis gimbal working really nicely. So if I stop her there, ooh, nice air brake action. So for the second, we're up at a height of 11.7 meters. Distance is 36 meters away from this transmitter. Let's take her up. Wow, she punches out pretty well. So if I just hold her there, so now we're up at a height of 27 meters. So clearly now there's a lot more wind as we're getting higher. And you can see all around Bristol. That's beautiful. We're still holding well at 15 satellites. So if I just give her a slight bit of yaw, just enough just to bank her around ever so slowly, that's beautiful. That's a really nice action from this quad. And she's holding herself remarkably well. Height is still between 27.9 and 28 meters. So here we go, you're seeing the whole area of the field here and the area around me. And now we're back to where we began, right there. Beautiful. Yeah, you know what, that's okay. I quite like that. Okay, maybe in my head, see, I'd seen a couple of first release videos of this and I wasn't impressed at all. I thought it left a lot to be desired. But since updating the firmware, since getting everything up to date, I think they have managed to fix a couple of bugs and it looks fantastic in the air. Let me just check my surroundings, I'm okay. It looks really good. It's got that fantastic air presence. And again, I'm not, you know, this video is super silky smooth. Down to 69% battery now. And I've got a full throttle. I am full throttle, so its speed is 7.5 meters per second. So it's really shifting. So bring her around to me. I'm going to bring her down slightly. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to have a little look and see. There we are. A bit of air breakage as I bring her down. Oh, look at that. She does look fantastic and she sounds even better. Her air presence is really menacing. She's got a fantastic shape to her. Those LEDs, I'll be perfectly straight up with you, as clearly as all my videos, I can't see anything with those LEDs. Those LEDs are awful. Absolutely awful. But I've been recording video now for 4 minutes and 37 seconds. I'm totally in the way of the wind here. And back out we go. Right, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a little look at some features. Okay, with the battery, I'm not going to get a look at every feature, but I'm going to look at some. So I want to have a quick little look at, I wanted to have a quick little look at orbit mode. So how to control the aircraft flight path. So use the joysticks at any time to set the orbit height and flight direction. And then you've got clockwise and counterclockwise then to move her around. So altitude is 6 meters. So what's it reckon? Transmit the location at point of interest. When the transmitter location is set as the point of interest, the aircraft will orbit around the transmitter. Set the aircraft's current location as point of interest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take her up. I'm going to kind of look at these trees and whatever. I'm going to take her up a little bit. There we go, next step. Current radius is 19 meters. I want to bring that. Current altitude is 16. Execute immediately. And then it's orbiting directly around, and clearly what I can do here is I can alter the orbit speed. So if I wanted it to orbit a little bit slower, then I could do that. I have the option to execute a slower rate orbit, which is pretty good. So current altitude is 16 meters, current radius is 20 meters, and it is orbiting at a speed of 0.5 meters per second. So time per orbit is 4 minutes and 24 seconds per orbit. That's 4 minutes for a full rotation. And I can just see, it's very bright here, I can just see that orbit is taking place. Okay, I can alter the speed of the orbit if I want to by like exactly as I did there, by just altering the joysticks myself or moving them myself. I don't want to do that. I want to leave it do itself. So if I increase the orbit speed to +3, then I'm hoping, yeah, it is going by the look of it. So here we go, it's flying itself now. Orbit speed. And it is going round. It looks like a kind of circle. That's it, there we go. So it's looking at that particular patch of trees over there, and it's orbiting within a diameter around my transmitter, or within reach of my transmitter. It's coming back around now. But that's orbit, and that looks pretty good. And I've got it set to faster speed, where time per orbit now has gone from 4 minutes to 41 seconds. So that in itself is pretty cool. And again, it'll just keep on executing until I stop it. So if I exit, exit will automatically stop the orbit, or you've got a stop in the top right left hand corner. So I want to have a little look at follow mode, because as you all know, follow me is something that doesn't work with the majority of the quadcopters that I buy. Whether it's GPS, whether it's toy grade or whatever, you have an issue with follow me. So I'm going to do, let's bring this down in front of me. Ooh. And wind took that a little bit then, a little bit fierce. So this thing is so bitey, she just wants to go. So I'm going to go to following mode. So active track, we've seen active track loads and loads of times before. The target has got to be between 5 and 15 meters away. So where's my distance? 15, there we go. So I'm just coming in a little bit closer. Understood. So if I alter this gimbal, the gimbal is quite slow, but it's a nice movement, and there I am. So if I drag that screen over to me, and then I'm hoping, Mr. Hubsan, there we are. Oh, I got to click go. So taps to follow. I've started active track, and this is probably not the best weather to do it in, because it's going to come forward and then slam the brakes on. But I've still got active track executing. Oh, it is coming towards me. Yep, it is doing it. Oh, the battery level is only 40%. Thank you for letting me know. That was a nice executable, there was a nice audible sound as well. Well, audible sound is audible. That was a nice sound that we had from the phone. And it's still following me. I think this would be better off on a clearer day. It's having a bit of an issue in sort of coming forward and then going back, and then there we are. Now it's sort of found me again. But it's battling this wind. I think because this motion of it following me needs to be nice and smooth, and because the quad has detected that it's not a smooth surrounding, as in the wind battering it, then it's finding it difficult to actually execute properly. But it is following me. This is the most successful I've had other than a DJI drone or a Parrot drone, you know. So if I still walk around, it's following me. It's following me. And that gimbal is working really well. When it slams the brakes on, that picture is not shuddering. Okay, so I've exited out of active track now. So there's a couple of other things that I want to go into. I want to go into waypoints, but I want to do that in a separate video because I want to look at it in greater detail. But if we've got automatic takeoff, we've looked at, oh, return to home. Let's see how good that goes. Okay, and sport mode as well. Right, so let's put it into sport mode. I got 36% battery. Initiated sport mode. Let's get a bit of height. Now, I'm going to be very careful on this throttle to begin with. Watch this battery go down. 33. Here we go. 31. Wow, it's really, yeah, it does really shift in sport mode. Over it goes. Keeps on going. We're down to 30% battery. I like at every single percentage, every 10% after 40, it alerts you. You're down to 30, mate. It'll probably alert me at 20. You're down to 20. Oh, yes. Right, let's take her out and let's try return to home. Oh, that curve was beautiful. Really, really is nice, this. Back into normal mode. Okay, back into normal mode. Let's stop her there. Let's turn her around so she's looking at the clearing in front of us. And let's click return to home. So, let's see. I haven't had a notification that I've clicked return to home. Has it picked up on it? No, I've clicked it again and it hasn't picked up on it, and I've still got full control of the quad. Okay, maybe I'll have to have a little look into why that hasn't worked. If I bring it a bit closer, there we go. Even though we had full signal, we had full transmission range as well, signal. Thing is, I'm a bit, I want to be careful about clicking and holding. Ah, there we go, click and hold, and then it goes into return mode. There we go, that's what you do. I'm very touchy about clicking and holding buttons because I've clicked and hold buttons before and it's just initiated emergency stop. And of course, I don't want this thing that I've just spent money on, you know, coming straight down at a rate of knots, you know, just when the motors disconnect. Oh, beautiful, look at that, so smooth, silky smooth, very nice. Right then, we all know where we took off from. How far difference is this going to be? Is it going to be? Whoop. That is not too bad. That is not too bad. Okay, I had to shunt my bag out of the way. Sorry, Mr. Bag. Lucky I don't have anything else in there. But that is where we landed. So that's where we took off. We landed there, which is a foot and a quarter away. That's really not bad at all. So let's stop this video just by clicking and holding. I'm liking these vibrations, I'm liking these sounds. It's very definite. It's letting you know it's done something. I've dropped 1 bar of signal on my transmitter as well, 1 bar of battery on my transmitter. So I got 27% battery left on this particular copter. So I'm going to take it back up. Up we go again. Look at it go. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm very shocked. I am very, very shocked. I expected to slate this. I did, because I've had my reservations about this ever since they announced it. I thought to myself, do you know what, this is going to be plagued with issues. But I am very, very, very surprised at just how nicely this package works together. I mean, you've got a beautiful sounding quad, listen to that. You've got a beautiful moving quad. You've got something that gives you power when you put on the, when you go flat out. When you want it, you've got that power. So it's got distance, 1 kilometer FPV range apparently. It is very, very, very nice, and it is very, very fancy. And the best thing about it, oh yeah, full FPV, beautiful, beautiful, and it's not even bothered. 8 meters per second is coming back at a height of 21 meters. Oh yes, well done, Mr. Hubsan, well done indeed. Signal levels still looking really good. Give her a bit more altitude to clear that. Oh, actually, you know what, what's that, what are we down to? 20%. Yeah. Oh, now it's automatic return to home mode. So there we go, we're right in the corner there, and now it's at 20%, it'll automatically initiate return to home. So over it comes, at a nice steady 3.7, 4.7, 5, okay, not so steady, quite quick actually. Yeah, that is very quick, 5 meters per second in return to home mode. Fair play, it doesn't matter about wasting battery, it's just, oh, did you see that? Oh, that was a little bit dodgy, wasn't it? It obviously wasn't lined up correctly and it moved itself back, but the motions were really heavy. It wasn't nice and smooth, it was properly left and right, left and right. Come on, you're on unlevel ground. There we go, well, you've stopped. Right, that was a little bit further, wasn't it? That was a little bit further away, so if we go from the back of the quad, 1, 2, 3¼ feet away, very roughly, come on folks, very roughly, 3¼ right, okay, let's stop that recording. So what are my thoughts on this? Well, I gotta say, I honestly thought I was going to slate it. I thought it was going to be terrible. I thought I would say, you know, I'd be expecting to get my money back. I honestly thought it was going to be absolutely awful. I'm shocked, I'm stunned at just how tight this is. Okay, it's not perfect. There are a couple of glaring issues with it that I think are quite, well, it's very violent in its movements. It's not smooth, but it's a fast quad. So I had it in normal mode for most of the flight. So in normal mode, I would want quite a gentle flight, you know, your average Joe sort of, you know, flight. You don't want to waste too much battery, get nice shots from the camera and stuff like that. But essentially, when it's in normal, you have to really be gentle with those sticks. If you're not gentle, you're going to get some really harsh movements out of this. It's going to be banking forward and back. It's really going to be juddering around the place. That being said, it will teach you to be quite a conservative pilot, rather than, you know, relying on the smoothness of the DJI, for argument's sake. So I think battery life has been good. I mean, let's have a look and see how long this battery lasted. So they rated 20-25 minutes, didn't they? There we go. That whole screen recording was 21 minutes and 36 seconds. So taking out the 5 minutes in between where I had to wait for the people to pass me. So you're looking at just over 15 minutes, 16 minutes of flight from one battery. That's really not too bad at all. And because of this little cutout at the bottom here, this battery it's warm at the top, but the bottom is cool. The bottom is very cool. So because of having that little cutout there, you're cooling your battery. That is a very good move. SD card, had no problem, plugged it in. You wanted to format, I allowed it to format. I didn't have anything on there that I wanted to keep anyway. This, as I said, is a class 10. So yeah, there we are, class 10. Oh, sorry, 64 gig class 10 SanDisk Ultra, and I hope that we've got everything on there that we recorded. The gimbal, I did not expect that to be as smooth. Now, there were times when I was taking it down that I had to look again and think, oh, I just had to wiggle the stick ever so slightly, just so that the FPV relay would jiggle a bit, just so that I could see whether or not it was still actually relaying. It's that smooth. Now, I had no problem in taking her out. I had full FPV signal. I went out straight in front, I went out at a 45, I went out over there, which I normally don't do, and I went out over here, which I normally don't do. And at all time, I felt really safe. I felt really safe flying this quad. I didn't think it was going to fall out the sky. I didn't feel as if it was, you know, just barely hanging on. I felt as if it was very stable. It was very proud. It handled the wind pretty okay. I've seen other quads like the MGX quads handle winds like this much better, but at the same time, it didn't handle it terribly. It was a lot of movement. So it moved around a bit, so it left and right and up and down, and you know, I did feel as if that GPS needs to lock on a bit better. It's got too much free movement. That did give me a little bit of cause for concern, but to be honest, I'm really happy with how this performed. I did not expect it to perform as well as this. I don't ask me why. Well, I know why, because I'd seen all those terrible videos at the start when this first came out, and the coloration of the camera was bad, the video would break up, and then the quadcopter was all over the place, so I didn't think it was going to be a viable quad. But from all the firmware updates they've released, which I believe is one or two, they at this time of recording this video, they've actually made made this into a pretty good quad. I'm really happy with it. I think it's got some room for improvement, as I've said, but well done, Hubsan. You've made yourself a nice quad there, and yeah, I'm happy to have spent the money that I did on this. As I said in the unboxing, I had it at a cheaper rate because it was when Banggood was selling them off cheaper, so it was like 480 something minus the 100, and then they had a promotion on top of that as well, which roughly made it about 275, 280 delivered to my door. So I was really happy with paying that much for it. I think this is a great quad. I think it's got room for improvement, as I said, but for the minute I'm very happy. So I think next I'm going to replace this battery and take her up and do some waypoints, I think. Right then, my friends, thank you ever so much for watching and listening. What's been your experience with the Hubsan Zino? Have you enjoyed it? Do you have any cause for concern? Do you love it? Let me know in the comments, folks. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and ring that bell too. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.